Hi, today is week 3, Tuesday the 5th of May 2020, and I hope you had a really great long weekend. You certainly deserved a rest. Let's have a look at what we're going to be doing this week by looking at our timetable. Okay, so we're going straight to Tuesday. Our first lesson is going to be a spelling activity to do with the etymology of words, and our second activity is going to be writing to do with the fairy tale. Lesson 2 is a reading activity, a letter to the editor, and our focus writing we're going to continue on with newspaper reports, but this time we're going to be looking at a radio report. Lesson 3 is mathmentals, and this week we're looking at angles, so I hope everyone's completed their BODMATs. Okay, so if we jump onto EdStudio and we have a look at our spelling words for this week, and let's go through and list them. If you want to head up your books with your name, and today, week 3, Tuesday, 5th of May 2020, and we're on spelling and we're doing etymology, which means that to do this activity you are writing listing the first word. You can write it in IPA off Google or whatever you're using. First up, and then put the definition. So the words are imply, oblige, reveal, October, aspire, unusual, computer, providing, erosion, uncommon, reduction, election, deliver, remember, condition, tomorrow, whoever, December, November, license, negotiate, nausea, and maintenance. So straight in first up, etymology of the word imply, and remember you can pause as we go if you need time to write things down. Imply.
Imply.
There is our IPA, nice and simple. It is Latin, and it was joined with two words, in and plecare, then it became implicare, then emplia, and then late Middle English is when it really took off as imply. And the meaning of the word indicates the truth or existence of something by suggestion. So you can almost say it's very similar to inferring. So Mum implied that I was up late because when I woke up she kept reminding me how tired I was. Second word is oblige. I forgot to do our thras phonemes this morning. That's right, we'll catch it up tomorrow. Oblige, O-B-L-I-G-E, and we pronounce it
Oblige.
There's our IPA. Once again, another Latin word coming from two words, ob, towards, and large, to bind. And once again, went to oblige in Middle English. And our definition is make someone legally or morally bound to do something. Word 3 is reveal. Oops, helps when you spell it correctly. Reveal.
Reveal.
There's our IPA, Latin again, made of two words, re again and velum. Veil, or veil, I think it says, went to Middle English, and our definition is make previously unknown or secret information known to others. Next word is October, and as we know it's a proper noun, so we have to put a capital on it. October.
October.
IPA. Latin octo, meaning 8. Definition, the 10th month of the year. In the northern hemisphere usually considered the second month of autumn. Next one, aspire. Aspire.
Aspire.
Latin ad, spira, went to Middle English to become aspire. There's our IPA. Direct one's hopes or ambition towards achieving something. Next one is unusual. unusual. So maybe there, because it's a base word, if we put in usual, because it didn't have un, so would be your upside down V and then just an N on front of that IPA. Uses, a use, and then went through to Middle English. So if we say unusual, the thing which is typically done or present, the prefix un would make the thing which is not typically done or present. Next word is computer. This will be interesting. Who thinks that one's going to come up? Or is that too modern a word? Yep, there we go. Let's have a look at this one. Computer. The etymology of the word computer. Ugh, that goes on forever. We don't want to look at that one. If you've got an IPA chart at home, or you can Google one and do it, if not, don't worry about it. The derivative computer was coined in the mid-17th century and originally meant simply person who computes. So we'll put that down as the definition, person who computes. Or I think this one is more relevant actually, device for calculating. So device for calculating. And if you want to actually put in the definition of the word, if you want to get a really good definition of the word computer. Too modern word though. Next one is providing. We'll go provide without the suffix. Provide. I know I spelled that.
Provide.
There's your IPA, and it's Latin again. Pro meaning before, videre meaning to see, and English became provide. Make available for use or supply. Next one is erosion. That might be a modern word too. Oh, there we go.
Erosion.
So Latin, erodere, wear or grow away, gnaw away, and then Latin, French, and the French have changed it to erosion in the 16th century. The process of eroding or being eroded by wind, water, or other natural agents. Then the next one is uncommon. Now we'll see if uncommon works. We might have to just put in the base word common. Uncommon, yep. Let's try common and then we'll modify it. I had a shocker there. You can tell I've had a long weekend, can't you? Common. Common.
Common.
So uncommon once again is the upside down V with an N. That's the IPA in front of it. Latin, communis. Commune, French, and then the English changed it. And it means occurring, found, or done, often prevalent. And our word was uncommon. So if that's it for common, then it would be not occurring or found often, would be uncommon. Reduction.
Reduction.
And there's our IPA. And it's Latin, reducere, bring back or restore. Latin went to Middle English, and the definition is the action or fact of making something smaller or less in amount. Next one is election.
Election.
Latin went to Old French eventually, and it means a formal and organised choice by vote of a person for a political office. Next one's deliver.
Deliver.
IPA. D meaning away. Libere, set free, and went to Middle English. Bring and hand over to the proper recipient or address. Then we have remember. This will be interesting. So remember.
remember,
IPA, Latin re, memor, mindful, went through to late Latin, Old French into English, and the definition is have in or be able to bring to one's mind an awareness. Next one is condition.
condition,
IPA. Latin con with, desere, say. Latin, Old French, you can see how this word's changed. Middle English. And it's the state of something with regard to its appearance, quality, or working order. Next one is tomorrow.
tomorrow,
There's your IPA. English, to, morrow, went to Middle English. Didn't take long for that word to be formed, and it means on the day after today. What's interesting about all these words is they're split into this prefix and base word, even though we don't really see that in every single word. It's been that case so far, except for computer. Okay, so we just did tomorrow, whoever. Now this one might not work because it's two words joined together, a compound word. Whoever, late Old English, whoever, that's how they would have spelt it. That's interesting. They had the H at the first, HW. That's obviously how it's been spun around to spell like that, which is very confusing to kids when they're learning to spell the word. If you've got the IPA, you can do it. If not, don't worry about it. The next word is December. So we'd have to look up the two words, who and then ever.
December,
There's December, Latin, went through to Middle English, and our definition is the 12th month of the year in the Northern Hemisphere, usually considered the first month of winter. So up the top of the globe, that'd be winter. For us, that's summer. And I'm looking forward to it already. Okay, November. November.
November,
There's your IPA. Novem, 9. And the definition is the 11th month of the year in the Northern Hemisphere, usually considered the last month of autumn. Don't worry about the Northern Hemisphere stuff. License with an S. License. License.
license,
English through to Middle English, and the definition is a pub has to be licensed by the local justice. So that's getting a license to be able to do something. Then negotiate is our next word.
negotiate,
There's our IPA there. Once again, Latin all the way through. Look how many changes through Latin until the 17th century, and the definition is obtain or bring about by discussion. And we're nearly there. Nausea, that's an interesting word. We'll see where that comes from. Nausea.
nausea,
There's our IPA. The IPA is actually longer than the word, and that's from Greek. Nausea, all the way to Latin and Middle English, probably because it's a medical term, and the Greek were the main founders of a lot of those Greek words initially. And the definition, a feeling of sickness with an inclination to vomit. Then our last word, maintenance.
maintenance,
There's our IPA, and it's a French word, went through to English and then changed from then. And the definition of maintenance is the process of preserving a condition or situation or the state of being preserved. Right, so that's our spelling for today. Getting back into the swing of it, I just forgot to do our phonemes, so we're going to very, very quickly do that now. So let's just go through these 44 phonemes, looking at the different graphemes. Keeping in mind these are the key graphemes, this is the main way we spell it, but as we looked up with the etymology of the word, lots of different ways we can spell a phoneme. B, K, Ch, D, F, G, H, J, L, M, N, Ng, P, R, S, J, Sh, T, Th, The, V, W, Y, Y, Z, A, E, A, I, E, I, I, O, Oi, U, Ua, O, Ow, A. Okay. So tomorrow we'll look at phonemes, then we'll split that up into, the next day we'll do graphs, digraphs, and then we'll do our dictation. And we'll try, actually we might throw in there a bit of bubble writing as well, but I'll explain it better this time. Okay, so now we're going to move on to our writing, which is to do with fairy tales, and I'll just very quickly pull up Ed Studio and go into week 3 writing. And don't forget that we can download the document and fill it out and then send it to me. You can either send it to me bits and pieces as you go, which is probably good because I give you lots of stars. Make sure I get that document by the end of the week. Okay, so let's go in and have a look, and I think I've downloaded it. Make sure you put your name on it. Now when we go into the website, which I should do first, sorry for flipping around a bit, it's got the actual writing sentence starter there, which has got some information there, so we'll have a look at that. So there's our image. Looks very fairy tale-ish, very fairy tale castle in a very interesting looking forest with this person over here who's obviously a girl or a lady. And then the actual story starter says, "It happened in the dead of night. The garden light illuminated the person, casting a mysterious shadow. As silent as a whisper in the night, the figure stealthily crept towards the green wooden doors. Click! The key slipped into the metal lock, the cold mechanisms inside responding to the familiar shape of the object that had been slipped inside. Seeing the padlock pop open as expected, the figure slipped a slender bolt across into its resting position. The doors groaned agonizingly, the figure turning to survey the surrounding area, alarmed at the loudness of the sound their actions had made. The coast seemed clear. Resuming their mission, the shadow slipped inside the room. There it was. This was the sight and moment they had been waiting for." So it's interesting that they're talking about they when we can only see one figure in the image. Alright, so the first question is, who is the girl in the picture? So when we're reading through this, I definitely get an impression of a mission, that they're there to do something. The figure stealthily crept towards the green wooden doors. Okay, so she's on her way. Are those front doors there green? Click! The key slipped into the metal lock, the cold mechanism inside responding to the familiar shape of the object that had been slipped inside. So that's obviously the key. Seeing the padlock pop open as expected, the figure slipped the slender bolt across into its resting position. So she's undone the padlock and she slipped the bolt back resting, so the door's no longer bolted. The doors groaned agonizingly, the figure turning to survey the surrounding area, alarmed at the loudness of their sound. The coast seemed clear. Resuming their mission, the shadow slipped inside the room. There it was. This was the sight and the moment they had been waiting for. So who is this girl? What inference can we make about her? Where has she come from? is number 2. So make sure you're using sentences with capitals. I really must insist that you do that. There's no point writing me a sentence if it's not punctuated and you haven't thought about it and gone back over it and reread it to make sure you're writing well. I'll go back to this document so you can see. What stories have been told in her village for centuries? So you've got to make this up. What stories would they come up with about a castle that's locked up in the forest and she's trying to creep inside to see this amazing thing or find this amazing thing? So what stories have been told in her village for centuries? Question 4, what do you think she hopes will be inside the house? So what is it that she's looking for? And there's no wrong or right answer as long as you stay within the constraints of that image. All right, so what's inside the house? I don't know, you'll have to think about it. What will she actually find inside? It was a pretty big build up to that as well. Is it going to be something magical? I don't know, you'll have to think about it. Why is she all alone? Although she's alone, it talks about there. So is she there on behalf of the village? Is she there on behalf of her family? Why, if it's only her, are they talking about it as being there? And what are the golden specks of light that appear in front of the picture? And how has the girl found this place? So that's it for today on this writing image. You're going to have to be very creative to come up with those answers, and once again, please make sure you use sentences. Okay, well, I'll see you in lesson 2 as soon as I can shut down this computer.